Production funding is provided by A. Reddix and Associates, Health Information Resource Center, offering short-term training for long-term professional careers in medical coding. HIRCVA.net.
Discussing the issues and celebrating the successes of the African American community. This is Another View.
Welcome to Another View, everyone. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee. We have some exciting news to share tonight about a partnership to bring green job training to underserved communities in our area and across the nation. Please welcome to Another View Mr. Harry Alford, President and CEO of the National Black Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Carletta Waddler, CEO of Sustainable Training Services, Mr. Gilliland, co-founder of the Green Jobs Alliance, and Mr. Maurice Stone, Chairman and President of the National Clean Fuels Incorporated. Welcome to the program, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us. Now, first of all, thank you for coming down from D.C. because we appreciate that for you to talk to us about this initiative, and this is to bring green jobs to the area.
That's right, and let this be the model program that we will spread throughout the Southeast and then nationally throughout the country.
How did the National Black Chamber get involved?
I was in Brazil. We're having a trade mission in Rio de Janeiro, and in 1999. And I had this presentation presented to me by the utility companies of Brazil, where they clearly showed that they were far ahead of the United States in sustainable energy and in being self-sufficient. And I felt bad. As a patriot, I felt bad. And it had on my mind all this time, we've got to do something about this. I think America has awakened, and I want the chamber to be on the cutting edge of this. So we assembled an energy committee. And Mr. Stone will talk about that in a minute. And I told him to go out and find us some partners to where we can make a model to show our constituents, black-owned businesses, and employ African Americans as well as everyone else like never before. If we do this thing right and get on the cutting edge, it's going to be a game changer.
It's going to be a game changer for everybody. Maurice, are there a lot of businesses in the energy, black businesses in the energy field?
You can probably count them on two hands. There are a lot of black businesses that are out there that are capable of being in the energy field. Opportunities, education, people need to know about it. Especially in the green jobs training, you got contractors who can be a part of the energy field. You have people, distributors who can sell solar panels, be a part of biodiesel facilities, things of that sort. In fact, that's why we got in the business of sustainable energy or clean energy, because we saw it as a future opportunity for us. And I know that there are numbers of others that can see it as a future opportunity for them as well.
Carletta, why is this such a hard sell in the African American community, this whole green thing? They think you're speaking another language sometimes.
Yeah, I think, and I say this all the time, is you don't know what you don't know. I don't think it's a hard sell. I think it hasn't been presented. And as it's presented, I think that the African American community embraces it. We embrace anything that's going to farther us in this economy. We're in a bad economy. We're going to embrace it. So we just need to know.
So, Randy, Green Jobs Alliance, sounds like you have the jobs. Is that what the deal is? Well, or are you bringing together a coalition of people?
Yeah, we're a convener, a facilitator, a catalyst for green job creation and green workforce training. We were formed in response to the Green Jobs Act of 2007, and we have been successful in proposing and receiving 4 Department of Energy grant awards. All of those are involved in green workforce training and green job creation in the energy efficiency sector for here in Hampton Roads.
Okay, I'm going to open this up to anyone in the panel, but what types of jobs, Harry, are we talking about? What's a green job?
And that's a good question, and I used to ask people that, and you get all kind of kooky answers, but basically it's anything that's environmentally and energy related is a green job. Anything that's going to reduce our carbon footprint, anything that's going to generate efficiency, anything that's going to reduce costs, anything that's going to promote sustainability in the energy field, that is a green job. So it's a big array of jobs, and it goes from nuts and bolts to IT to rocket science.
So part of this initiative is to help those who are in underserved communities get some new training and come into this industry. What types of jobs might they take on, Carletta?
They can be energy auditors, they can do weatherization, which is insulating houses and sealing and caulking and that kind of thing, or they can do retrofitting, which is a little bit deeper than weatherization. They can be contractors that are already working very conventionally in business now, but need to add to the training that they have so that they can work in this new environmental economy that we're going to have.
So what's the game plan, Maurice? How do you get this word out? How do you get people involved?
You have to be able to put the word on the street to the average person. And I say the average person, I mean anybody. Churches, media, speaking engagements. You have to let people know that these jobs exist. Just like the telecommunications industry of old, or the healthcare reform of old, we're now going through energy reform. There was a lot of jobs that were created in both of those reforms and both of those revolutions. Now those jobs are going to be formed in the energy sector. So people need to be aware of what, just like what Carletta said, what those jobs are. They can be anything from an engineer, it can be a person who's actually installing a solar panel, a person who's actually doing maintenance. So these jobs and this knowledge has to be put out in the community.
Randy, how much training then is involved? I mean, some of it sounds like it's kind of maybe enhancing skills you already have, but some of it sounds like there may be some new skills involved.
Yeah, there are, and there, for some of these grant programs, there's specific certifications that are required to participate in the programs. For instance, Building Performance Institute, Building Analyst, Envelope Professional, BPI accredited contractors. And so that's part of what we have funding to do, is to train contractors and also train individuals in these certain demographic constituencies so that they can get those certifications to be able to participate in this energy efficiency sector. But Carletta made a good point about, for instance, contractors, an HVAC contractor. I mean, there are folks out doing HVAC contracting every day in Hampton Roads. What they need to do is turn that also into an energy efficiency retrofit project, and that enhances the scope of the job for them, and also will improve the utility performance of that home, will improve the health and air quality of that home, and improve the customer's comfort level. And so they can expand their scope of work. So we can take a traditional HVAC contractor and turn them into an energy efficiency retrofit contractor.
So now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm trying to understand kind of the hierarchy of this a little bit too. It sounds a lot like some of your major contractors then would get some certain certification, but then you also have subcontractors, smaller businesses that can also be trained in this so that they can get on those same kind of jobs.
That's the beauty of this, is that we can go down to the ground level and teach people individually how to perform some of these functions, but also take a small business and make them competitive and a valuable resource to the community. The key is communication, as Maurice was saying. One-stop resource is what we're trying to be. We're trying to show you what it is, how to get there, and get you there, and be on your way to making some money and providing a service to the community.
I do want to say something a little bit about green collar jobs. We're talking about energy here, but green collar jobs can be everything from a cook to a janitorial worker to a landscaper. Anybody that does anything in an environmentally friendly way, in a green or sustainable fashion, is a green collar job. We just happen to be talking very energy specific this evening.
Maurice?
And interestingly enough, one of the things Harry said about anybody being competitive, through all of these reforms and revolutions of industries, this green job training opportunity for contractors levels the playing field. For African Americans, typically, we're always starting out at the end or after, or with our second thought or third thought. In this case, we're Hampton Roads, and what Green Jobs Alliance and Sustainable Services and the Chamber are doing is leveling the playing field. So this is the beginning of it, and a contractor or a person, African American or any minority person, can get in and be competitive with the big guy that's been there the whole time. Right up front, level playing field.
Ex-offender, whatever, trouble pass, at risk. Come on, let's come on in.
So where do they go? I mean, give me some specifics about how this is going to work, Carletta.
Well, I think Randy would actually be the best person to talk about.
For Hampton Roads, to contact the Green Jobs Alliance, because we have the responsibility for the 4 Department of Energy grants, which is providing the funding for the things that we're talking about here this evening. And so if they reach out to us, and they can call us or go to our website, greenjobsalliance.org, or 757-251-9523 is the Green Jobs Alliance office. We have a Weatherization Training Center grant, we have a Better Buildings grant, a Weatherization Innovation Pilot grant, and a state energy
And do you have to have
grant.
previous experience with knowing how to do these things, or can you come in?
No, and there's a wide.
Pardon the pun. Totally green.
Yeah, one
was good, Barbara.
Yeah, one of the messages I want to be clear is there's a wide spectrum of job opportunities here. You know, it's not just hammers and nails or insulation and caulk. There's energy monitoring devices. There's energy modeling software. So there's a lot of technology that's related to this as well. So there's some exciting jobs.
Okay.
Interesting point, because entry into the market for somebody is always the key. Where do I get the money? Where do I get the capital? How do I get in? One of the best things about this through the grant with Green Jobs Alliance is that it doesn't cost anything.
So there's no fee for this training? Is that what you mean?
There are offsets.
They're offsets.
Okay. Okay. Explain that a little bit.
Well, I'll let Randy do that because he's the one who is in charge of it. But he has a very creative way of the tuition that may be needed for this, how to earn that tuition as you train on the job.
Okay. Randy?
Well, specifically, to be a BPI building analyst is $1,600. A contractor enrolling in the program, it's a $500 fee for that contractor. So there's $2,100. But what we're going to do is we're going to partner them with an existing certified contractor that they will jointly work on a couple of energy efficiency projects that will earn them the profit in that job to more than cover the investment. So they'll effectively get into the program and get experience with zero cost in.
And that's very significant because I run a publicly traded company, and what we literally do is invest in green opportunities and clean energy opportunities, and that costs thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of dollars. This is a way to get on a level playing field with $0 with the offsets. And that's significant. It's very significant in this industry.
You have viewers in North Carolina, so let me mention that in North Carolina, workforce development there is actually providing training for energy auditors, and they are underwriting the entire cost of the training. So in northeastern North Carolina, if you're in one of those 10 counties,
the training is available.
It's training is available.
And here in Hampton Roads, through the Weatherization Training Center grant, we have scholarship money for folks who fit certain demographic criteria: unemployed, underemployed, at-risk youth, adjudicated nonviolent felons, foster kids aging out of the system. And so those folks can get individual training so they can go to work for one of these contractors.
Very few disqualifiers. So if you can read, write, add, subtract, multiply, and add, and live a good, wholesome life, this is for you.
This is for you.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times, black businesses in particular find themselves behind the 8 ball a little bit in terms of new revolution. I know you stepped forward to make this so that we can be on the forefront.
Yes.
But in terms of someone who wants to start a business in the green industry, what types of advice would you have?
There are a lot of resources you can have, but first is to get with Randy or his counterparts. Start there. Let us know. Let us do a needs assessment on what you need. And if you need to start a business, we have plenty of resources for that.
Okay.
And it's your tax-paid funded resources. So it's not, you don't have to go to University of Virginia to get this,
Now, you guys are doing this across the country?
We are. We're rolling it out in the Hampton Roads area.
Lucky us.
Lucky us. Okay. We all, as you know, we all are rooted, most of us are rooted here at Hampton Roads. But we're rolling it out across the country. When we look at resources, just remember that federal dollars are coming down for this initiative all over the place. There probably isn't a community in the United States at this point that doesn't have some kind of funds available for green initiatives. So look at home first for like the workforce development in North Carolina. Look at your at home and then reach out. We're here. We're going to provide information to contact us. It's doable. That's the key. It's doable.
Oakland, California has jumped into this, and it's a city that's 18% unemployment, highest crime rate in the country, but yet their job training program, every student who has graduated has gone into a successful job or business.
Wow.
Everyone, 100%. So
what makes this one different from other programs?
The demand is there. The timing is right. America, as I said, has awakened, and when we awake, we roar. So I think it's getting ready to roll.
What do you think would happen if we didn't take advantage of this?
We would lose our standard of living, lose our competitiveness worldwide, and it would hurt us. And what better time than this economy to have a phoenix, the resurrection?
Absolutely. Maurice, you're with a publicly traded company. You're in a large company. What's the mindset of other African American executives in terms of moving into the green industry?
Well, I think,
or energy industry.
Well, I think the African American executives who are in the green industry are there because they're anchored in the future. They see the opportunity coming down the road, and they know that I got to prepare now, because I got to put assets in place, I got to put people in place, and I got to review all the opportunities. As an example, sitting in my company, all I do on a daily basis is review green projects. That's all I do. And I decide whether or not we can get involved with it, whether or not we can invest it. I qualify them. And we view those projects not as mature projects.
So these are more speculative?
They're new.
New projects.
Because the whole industry is new. And we're not unique in that respect. We just happen to be able to be in a position, especially through our membership with the Chamber, to be able to see various opportunities across the country and have entrepreneurs bring, I have this project that I could do in biodiesel. I have this project I could do in solar. I have this project, and we can help them qualify it because we want to be involved in it, and we can help them get other resources to put in it. And so I know other execs of large companies that do it anyway. In fact, Harry and I were at a White House briefing of all of the energy players in the market that was done by Secretary Chu, who is the Secretary of Energy. And there were about 200 people, 200 execs in the meeting. I looked around. There were 4 African Americans in the meeting.
Out of 200? Out
of 200. Only 2 of them were in business, the business side of it, myself and Harry Alford. The others were associations. No offense to them at all. They needed to be there to see the message. But what I'm telling you, there was Peabody Energy. There were
so there
all the big, all the guys, all of us were there, but we weren't involved. We weren't playing. People have to think and bring up the opportunities. As an example, and this will be my last comment on that. Yesterday, when I got here, Carletta was kind enough to pick me up at the airport, and she put me on the phone almost immediately with a young gentleman who had designed a cell phone charger, solar charger, that the military was interested in. That had the panels on the back, that had the ability to recharge the phone. That's a green opportunity. And this guy was 23, 24 years old and had designed it and written it and sent it in to try to get it patented. You have to think about it. Use your imagination. The simplest ideas work.
Work for that. We're almost out of time. I want to ask Randy one real quick question, and that is length of time of training.
Depends on the training, but for instance, BPI building analyst, it takes a week. Now there's some field mentoring and some experience that you need to gain, but the classroom experience and the field portion of that can be done in a week.
So some of these jobs, I mean, this is not something that's taking you years to train for.
No.
Harry, you had a point.
We're at the 21st century version of Henry Ford and Alexander Graham Bell. These are going to be exciting times, and there are going to be billionaires that are being made, and they're going to create jobs by the millions. So I think this is a very exciting moment, and we're glad to be part of it.
As you talk to other African American businesses in the coalition, are they excited about it, or are they reluctant?
Very excited about it. Very curious, and when they see that it is doable, it can happen, they get the vision, they're off and running.
The key is to get the vision. Go ahead, we got about a minute left.
This is real. If I could say it any other plainer way, the reason people are excited, especially through the Chamber and the Green Jobs Alliance, this is real. The money's there.
This is a very concrete thing that people can do right now. I want to tell people they need to go to sustainabletrainingservices.com. There's one location. That number is 757-814-0001. And Green Jobs?
greenjobsalliance.org, 757-251-9523. And Barbara, what I tell people when I speak to groups is this is the future. The question to ask yourself is how fast are you and your organization going to get there?
Carletta, last word.
I knew you were going to give it to the woman. All I can say is that this is something that not only will change the economy, it'll change the way we think about the world that we live in. It'll save energy, and it'll build a future for our children.
And on that note, thank you all so much for joining me today. And when we come back, we'll meet the star of the Virginia Opera's newest production, Rigoletto. But first, here's what's happening in Hampton Roads. For the past week, the opera Rigoletto has been wowing audiences at the Harrison Opera House. And one of the incredible voices making it all possible is South Africa's foremost baritone, Fikile Mvinjelwa. I got it. This gifted performer recently sat down with our Lisa Godley to discuss his life, his music, and the stage.
Fikile Mvinjelwa was just a young boy growing up in South Africa when he discovered he could sing. So he joined a choir and toured from the age of 11 until his late 20s. Then one day, his choir was asked to sing at the Opera House in Cape Town. What Fikile heard changed his life.
First time in the Opera House, first time listening to the operatic voices, first time listening to orchestra. So I just fell in love. I said to myself, wow, this is amazing.
From that moment on, Fikile knew he was destined to sing opera. He already had the voice. It was just a matter of being trained. So he auditioned for the University of Cape Town Opera School and was admitted. Things took off from there.
At the same time, Angelo Gobato, who was also a CEO of the Opera House and a professor at the university, felt that, he said to me, you've got a wonderful voice. You are going to be a studio member at the Opera House while you are still a student. So that was 94. 95, he said to me, well, I need you to do Chonade for me in Bohème. I understand you are a second-year student, but you can do it. Sing Chonade on the opera stage. Second-year student on the opera stage, professionally singing Chonade. Reviews, bravo. So from then, I never stopped.
Fikile says the first time he sang Rigoletto was at the Opera House in Cape Town. He says thanks to his language classes at the university and his mentor, he was able to learn the Italian opera in 2 months. He says growing up in South Africa was tough.
Life was hard, especially in South Africa during the days of apartheid. It was very hard, you know. We were Cape Town were the sort of third-class citizens, you know. We are not even second-class citizens, we are third-class citizens. So we're sort of oppressed, you know. The grandmother who raised me had values, so I grew up under those values. Respect people, respect life, be honest.
Fikile Mvinjelwa is South Africa's foremost baritone and has performed in front of such notable dignitaries as President Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And he says he finds it funny that those who made fun of him while he pursued singing as a child now consider him their hero. The award-winning opera singer has this advice for young people who aspire to follow in his footsteps.
You have to be dedicated, you know, you have to be passionate about something. You must want to do it. You must be honest to it, you know. And there are no shortcuts. There are not shortcuts, you know. You mustn't give up, you know. You must study and learn and concentrate and know that there are no shortcuts in life. There are no guarantees, but you must have hope that one day you will succeed.
For Another View, I'm Lisa Godley.
And you have one more opportunity to catch Fikile at the Harrison Opera House. He and the rest of the cast will perform Rigoletto this coming Sunday, October the 10th at 2:30. From here, the opera moves on to Richmond. And we thank you for joining us this evening. Be sure to visit our website, anotherview.tv, and sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. And we're on Facebook, so become a fan. We'll see you next time for Another View.
Production funding is provided by A. Reddix and Associates, Health Information Resource Center, offering short-term training for long-term professional careers in medical coding. HIRCVA.net.